Tell your cat and your dog that I'm back. Put a community post not too long ago telling you guys that if you are sick, stay your butt at home. My husband's coworker got him sick, and then you know how that goes. Today we're talking about another cultural shock that I experienced when I moved here. Besides the tipping culture, if you missed that video, it'll be on the end screen. Oh no! Parents kicking their children out at the age of 18. I'll never understand it. It is definitely a Western culture. Now, I will say, I was one of those people who thought every household did this, but it's not every household, obviously. In this video, we're not talking about the troublemaker kids, because y'all know how those troublemaker kids can be. We're talking about those good kids that still get kicked out at 18. By the time you turn 17, your parents is looking at you in your face and telling you that you're gonna get kicked out on your birthday, on the day. Now, I'm not gonna call any people out, but I've seen people that were close to me that weren't troublemakers. They were nothing but great kids. And by the time they turned 18, the parent was knocking at the door telling them you need to leave. I don't understand it, but we have some videos that we're gonna watch and maybe it'll give me some enlightenment. And if you were kicked out and you want to share your story, if you're comfortable with it, make sure you leave it in the comment section below and I'll definitely be reading it. This one was an interesting one. Kicking a kid out as soon as they turn 18 makes me wonder how often they had felt neglected and unwanted up to that age and how the sense of family was defined growing up. It makes me wonder, we always have people say, you should have kids, you should have kids. And if you don't want kids, they're always like, but you have to have kids. And is that the product of that? Because you're, I guess, forced into having kids, you decide to have kids, and then you just want your life back, so you want to kick your child out at 18. If that's the case, then that's still messed up in my opinion. And if you do want a kid and you end up kicking your kid out at 18, what is going on? Minus kids being a troublemaker. If your kid's a good kid, what is going on? I know some kids go out to college, but there are some kids who are in high school that have their birthdays early and are already homeless before they can even get a lick of the college experience. So, or even senior year in high school. Try not to get worked up. Try not to get worked up. But I need some answers. I need some knowledge when it comes to this topic.
A mom who kicked her kids out when they turned 18 is now trying to move in with them because she has no money. Her daughter posted to Reddit explaining that her mom refused to work when they were younger. And when her parents divorced, the mom remarried almost immediately and relied on her new, much older husband who died last year and left her with almost nothing. After the second husband passed away, the mom moved in with her son and his wife. She was supposed to watch their kids, but the mom failed to watch the kids and caused problems in the son's marriage, so the son kicked her out. And now the mom wants to move in with this daughter, saying she will watch her 2-year-old grandchild. The daughter isn't interested, saying she knows it won't work because of how she was treated as a kid and because of her brother's experience. This daughter added that she and her brother were both kicked out of home at 18 right after they finished high school because, as their mom said, adult children should never live with their parents. When this daughter told her mom she wouldn't be allowing her to stay, she says her mom had a meltdown, saying she had nowhere to go and making accusations of providing for her daughter and son in times of need. Of course, that was her responsibility as a parent. The daughter told her mom, "You are a healthy, working-age person. You should not be freeloading," which is exactly what her mom told her when she was 18. It's not the daughter's responsibility to care for this woman who made her life difficult as a child. Getting rid of guilt, protecting your energy by creating space, and communicating with people you trust are all keys to healing from a poor relationship with a parent. It's time for this mom to take care of herself. As they say, what goes around comes around.
Not only is life hard, as a parent, not only have you experienced life, real life, especially if you had your kids young, to then kick them out at the age of 18, are you wanting them to have the same life that you created for them? Now, granted, they could turn things around and they can do better for themselves. And it could be a lesson, an unwanted lesson for them. And then it could break that relationship you guys probably never had to begin anyway. But kicking your child just because they're 18 is so puzzling to me. I come from a place where you don't leave your nest, whether you are a guy or a girl, until you get married or until you are financially stable. A quick little story time. My husband is American. I am not American. And when we were dating, my husband was scared, terrified to tell me that he lives with his parents. Mind you, his parents were telling him, just let her know. And because he didn't understand where I'm coming from, it would have been weird for me if you were living by yourself. And he was living with his parents. Long story short, we're married now, we live together. But when he told me that, I busted my butt laughing because I could not understand I just can't. I can't understand why there's shame around that, especially if you have your crap together and you still decide to live with your parents, because I'm used to that. You can be a lawyer and live with your parents. You know what I mean? It's just so weird. So this is definitely one of those things where I'm just like, why are y'all doing this? This is weird. Y'all are creating so much pressure for your kids when at the end of the day, they're your kids, whether they're 30, whether they're 16, whether they're 18, whether they're 65, they will always be your child. Yes, the world sees them as an adult, but at the end of the day, you are a parent and that is your baby. So for you to be the negative part of their life when you're supposed to be the main support is very puzzling, disturbing, devastating, sad, in my opinion. And I've seen this when I was in high school here. Oh my days, 16-year-olds getting kicked out, 18-year-olds getting kicked out, 17-year-olds getting kicked out. It needs to change. It definitely needs to change. It's ridiculous. It's sickening. I'm not talking about them bad kids, because I know some kids can be really bad, but it's got to stop.
Parents that kick their kids out at 18 years old are the worst type of parents you could possibly think of, especially in this day and economy. Because you, as a parent, you're supposed to be teaching your kid life advice. You're supposed to be teaching how to have your child be a functioning member of society, whether that be going to school and getting good grades and so on and so forth. Maybe going to college, working hard to be able to get a scholarship so they can have the whole entire college paid for. And have a job where, you could be able to save all that money that you made instead of just splurging on stuff that you want. How to be able to build credit and what is credit. How's the housing market? Let me check and see how good the housing market is. It's dog, by the way. It's impossible. But no, you guys decided to take the easy route for yourselves and just kick your kid out with no consequence of actions. No responsibility. You just think, you know what? My hands are tied. I'm kicking you out. And then y'all wonder why your kids don't talk to you. Y'all wonder why they don't want to be around you whatsoever. The amount of delusion y'all have is so funny.
At this point, if the shoe fits, wear it, especially if you know me personally and this fits your shoe. If you are that person who's always saying, I wonder why my kids don't come see me, I wonder my kids blah blah blah, the holidays are here and nobody's talking, there's a reason for that. There's a reason. Let's go back in time when you kicked them out and now they don't want to talk to you. Now they don't want to see you. There's a reason for that. You kicked them out when life was hard. Their hardest time transitioning from high school to college, if they decide to go to college or technical school. The transition period where you're supposed to be there the most for your child. You decide to just throw your hands up and say, hey, you got this, fella. Go by yourself. And now the holidays are coming and they get married, they have kids and everything, and they want nothing to do with you and they send you to the senior living. There's a reason for that. I'm not saying all people that send their parents to senior living is because of that, but I'm saying, I didn't check the stats. It may be a good chunk of y'all. But anyway.
Yeah, I just got done watching this one video where this young girl was saying it's crazy how some parents be kicking these kids out 18, 19, 20, 21 and have not provided any type of knowledge or financial assistance. You kicking your kid out in this crazy world right now, you must want them to suffer because that is crazy. But that kind of bring me back to my days where I didn't know nothing and I pretty much went out in this world. I had to learn everything myself with no financial help. Like I had to buy my own car, I had to pay for my own education, and then I wasn't taught anything. It was probably because my parents didn't know themselves. But come on, how you gonna tell somebody to go to college knowing damn well you're not paying for it, knowing damn well it costs $80,000 and knowing damn well that the payment starts 6 months after you graduate? Like my payment for my degree is like $600 a month. Nobody told me that, so I just went to school. I'm like, oh, okay, they say go to school. But now I'm thinking about it, it just don't make sense how they just just throw you out to the wolves. Like, I have a 9 and a 14-year-old, y'all. There ain't no way in the hell I would do them like that. Like, at 9 and 14, my kids know so damn much about credit, life insurance, car registration, homeowners insurance. They know everything. I be telling them all.
Love that.
And I be telling them, like, as soon as you graduate high school, you need to get a trade or get some type of certificate, because college ain't the way to go. Because I have a college degree and I didn't even get a job to what I studied. I actually used to sell life insurance, so I was a licensed agent. Now I work in disability claims, and they don't have nothing to do with my degree. So you telling somebody to go get a college degree for nothing, and you're not even paying for it, and that's crazy. And you telling people how to buy a car, but you're not even providing no type of financial assistance. Oh yes, my kids will be financially provided for if I'm telling them to do something. That only makes sense. Like, cause how can an 18 or 19, even 21-year-old come out here and do all this stuff in this high-ass expensive world? Please make it make sense.
She just reminded me, and if you've been here for a while, you know I put up a poll asking if college was a scam, and something along the lines of if you get your degree and then you get a job that's not associated with the degree you went for and all of that. That video is still pending. It's still in the works. It's going to take a while for that video to come out, but when it does, y'all be ready, because a lot of y'all had opinions on that. Some of y'all were saying college is a scam. Some of y'all were saying people should go to trade school. And some of y'all were saying that college is the right way to go. But that's not what we're talking about today. So we're going to move on to the next video.
Now, I don't remember the name of the creator, but the other day I saw a video of a woman talking about the trauma of being kicked out of your house after turning 18. She said that after she turned 18, she was given about 30 days to get out of the house. And as a person that's been on their own since they were about 17, I could really relate to that video. Now, I never understood why parents do this. It's such a disservice to your child. You are putting them out in the world with no tools to survive, and you could be putting their lives in danger, and you're also setting them up for failure.
Yes.
My situation was a little bit different. Ironically, I didn't move out of the house. My mom moved out of the house. Yeah, you heard what I said. My senior year of high school, my mom moved out. She packed up her shit, she moved in with her man, and she pretty much just abandoned us. Now, this happened a really long time ago, so I can't remember all of the details, but I do know eventually the authorities got involved, and they were like, yeah, this is not appropriate behavior for a mother, and she lost custody of my siblings. I was already about to turn 18, so they said to me, you don't need to be involved in this, and I hope you have somewhere to go because it's about to get real uncomfortable. My other siblings went to go live with family members, and I was sent to go live with my dad, but that did not work out at all. I was a really damaged teenager, and I had been through a lot. I needed intense therapy, and I don't think my dad really understood that. Me and him argued all the time, and he didn't have to tell me to get out. He made his house so uncomfortable, I practically ran out. So I gladly bought a one-way ticket and went back to Denver, and I lived with my boyfriend for about a year, and then we broke up. So I moved back into the empty house. My mom did not mind me living in the house by myself, but she did ask me to give her my entire paycheck because it turns out she wasn't paying any of the utilities and she was behind on that, and she wanted me to pay them if I wanted to live there. And I said, absolutely not. I'm going to save my money and I'm going to get my own shit. And that's exactly what I did. So now I'm 19. I have my own place. Everything's going well. But I still really needed a lot of guidance. And I just didn't have any adults in my life that I felt like I could trust and that I could go to. And this is where the bad decision making came in. Because when you're operating from a place of desperation, that little voice in your head that says, hey, maybe something isn't right, that voice gets quieter and quieter until you eventually don't have that anymore. One day I was at a Walmart and I got a bunch of stuff from my apartment. I was waiting at a bus stop and a pickup truck drove past me and asked me if I needed a ride home. And like an idiot, I got in the car. I had been told my entire life not to take rides from strangers. That is like the first lesson of life that you learn. I knew this to my core, but because I was so tired and just drained, I felt like I deserve a break, and I took a ride from a stranger, which was really not a smart thing to do. But again, I was 19 years old. Thank God he was kind. He said to me, you know what, I'm a father, I'm going to help you out, but please don't ever do this again. And that's when I realized I am truly too young to be doing all this. Like, I need an adult. I'm a child. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm making really bad decisions, and that could have been the last decision I ever made. So I called my dad and I said, hey, things are not working out. I want to go to school. There's things that I want to do, and I just can't do all of this on my own. And he said, of course, you can come back. We worked in our relationship, and now we're actually really close. All I know is my kids will never go through that. They can always count on me. I did not have my children to abandon them. And no matter what they're going through, they can always call me. And they can also live in my house for as long as they need to. Things are so hard nowadays. Why put your kids out before they're ready? I just don't believe in that. And I hope that as a parent, when my kids are older, I can do better and I can give them better than what I was given, so they won't have to experience the things that I did.
Did you live with your parents past 22?
I'm 20 right now.
Listen, let me learn you something. Kicking your kid out at 18 or wanting your kids to leave at 18 is strictly an American thing. They want people out inside of society that cannot function, don't know how to do taxes, and don't understand rent agreements to be out there so that they can hoe them and get as much money from those individuals as possible. There are people out there that went out before even 18 and did amazing, did wonderful. But there's a lot more that aren't, especially in this day and age with the inflation and money going wild. I left my house in Hollywood and went back to my hometown and live with my parents. And I will say this, if you have the opportunity to live with your parents other than living by yourself, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Save it. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank or how much money you don't have in the bank. If you have the opportunity to build as a community with the people that you love and are closest to in your life, do that. Don't hold yourself trying to be independent.
Yeah, it works out until you're forced into independence out of nowhere with no support.
Let me explain the problem of kicking out your kids at the age of 18 instead of having them live at your house. I lived with my parents until the age of 26. Pisses me off that you call it privilege. I call it normal Italianity because it is embedded in our culture. So if your culture makes stupid choices, don't call me privileged. Simply look within. Back into this. So from the age of 18 to the age of 26, I have to pay the average US rent $1,700 a month, which adds up to $20K a year. And from 18 to 26, they have to pay the average rent. You're making your kid $186,000 poorer than somebody who is living at his parents. Supposedly you want to teach them responsibility and stuff. Have them pay a little amount, I don't know, $500 a month. You are giving them the biggest financial present of their life. But they have to learn stuff themselves. At the age of 26, you have an extra $186,000. You actually learn how to invest it. You're not gonna have $186,000 at 26. You're probably gonna have closer to $500K. $186,000 is 2 down payments on the US average home. 20%. 20% down payments, the average US home, which means that at the age of 26, they have a job and everything, they could have 2 homes in their name, rented, making 2 extra incomes on top of their own. They could have a paid off car instead of paying $700 a month average car payment. They could pay their entire student tuition if they had to get a student loan. American society is expensive, but I believe that American culture, American family culture, is making the American lifestyle even more expensive to the young people. How did I buy a house at the age of 23? Exactly because I was living the Italian lifestyle in America, which on an entry-level salary still enabled me to save for a down payment on a house in just 1 year. Before telling that Europeans are privileged because they have family, perhaps look within your culture with some critical mind. Try to understand why your youth is so messed up financially and how we got there. I hear myself out.
And I couldn't agree more. It's definitely just an American thing as far as I know. If you guys are curious and you guys are new here, I'm South African. I was born in South Africa, and it just shocks me how many kids are out here being independent while at the same time not knowing what they're doing, getting themselves into crazy debt, trying to go to school, trying to work, trying to do that, just doing too much in your 20s when all you should be focusing on really is the money that you are making, the school, mainly education that you're getting. But when it comes to the money you're making, it's just being able to, like he's saying, invest, do whatever to better your future, quite literally. But instead, you're worrying about the bills, you're worrying about this, you're worrying about that, and the third. You know what I mean? It's too much if you are not ready or you have not been educated in finances, which is majority of a lot of people in this country. They have no financial literacy and you are just tossing them out to the wolves. And I never thought of it, but that one guy said that's exactly where they want you to be, because then you have kids and your kids are financially illiterate and they're financially illiterate and this and this and that. With all that being said though, I will be that person to say, regardless of this video, if at the age of 19, 20, you have not learned, the school hasn't taught financial literacy, it is your responsibility to start educating yourself in finances. And if you're young, spoiler alert, not all schools are going to be helping you become financially literate. So there comes a time where you can't blame the next person. I'm not talking about the parents that kick the kids out, but I'm just talking about finances here. There comes a time where you need to teach yourself. Boo-hoo, cry your tears out. The school system failed you. Your parents failed you. Everybody and their cat failed you. Now it's time to educate yourself when it comes to that topic, because quite literally it is a make or break.
Oh, you 18, get out.
There was this thing, I just saw something.
If they're getting education and they're going the right direction, why put the kid out?
Yeah,
Get a kid a chance.
This dude turned 18. His mother gave him an eviction note.
Yeah, I mean that's how a lot of parents do it, man. They're waiting for that 18th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of you making sure that your kid is set up for success, you're looking for when can I go out and party and kick it and get rid
You're
of this
their
kid.
downfall.
That's the selfishness.
It's quite unfortunate that it is, and it's like, give them opportunity, give them a chance. Just because the number comes that you're 18, yeah, you've grown. However, I believe in you enough to stay here, work on what you need to work on. Let's get you in school. Let's do what we can.
I'm getting kicked out of my parents' house. I was given no explanation for why. I was just told Wednesday morning that I need to be out by the following Wednesday. Yes, 1 week. To find a place to stay, to pack up, to get out, and leave. I'm literally 20 years old, so this is a pretty big step. Am I scared? Yeah. But I believe in myself, and I have hope for what I can do in the future, so I think I'll be okay. But I thought, why not have you guys tag along with me in the moving process? So you guys are going to stick with me if you want to. So, wish me luck.
So kicking kids out when they're 18, I do always feel like it's happening less, right? There's a lot of sentiment like this. My daughter's 20, still lives at home, and is welcome here. And in my last video, when you link back, there are a lot of parents who let them live in the house because it's expensive in 2023. But every now and then, not just on TikTok, you run into somebody and you're like, oh, we still think this way. So today I was at my fitness class, and, before class started, there were a bunch of us just talking, and I was stating, oh, my son was going to college in the fall, and maybe, eventually I'll be able to change his room into a fitness room, and get some of this equipment. And I didn't mean September, and I surely didn't mean when he was in college and probably going to come back home on breaks. I just meant eventually, as becoming an almost empty nester. And of course, I would not do that to his room if he wanted to come back. But this woman goes, my suggestion is to make sure that you clear it out as soon as he moves out so that, they can't move back. What? That is not what I want to do. I was like, oh, that's not what I want to do. And I sort of explained it sort of nicely, because I was sort of like, why would you say this out loud in front of a bunch of people? The lady next to me looked sort of uncomfortable too. She goes, oh no. She's like, I let my kids move back home too. That's how I am. And she goes, when I was young, I had to get some help. And I moved back home so I could save up money so that I could get a place. And I was like, yeah, see, that makes sense. Because, family, parenting, support, because we want them to be able to fly and to thrive. And it is very hard to thrive when you're 18 years old and you don't have a lot of life skills. They may have some life skills. I'm not saying they have zero life skills, but not enough to live on their own, especially not in 2023. Come on now.
When it comes to the data of how many parents kick their children out in 2024, the data is very limited. But I will say based on what I researched, there is a lot less of this kicking out happening now. I don't know. I don't want to assume, but one may think that because of how high rent and everything is, those parents that would normally kick out their kids probably want a chunk of that paycheck to help them with the mortgage. Just saying. Y'all let me know in the comment section below what y'all think. And for y'all parents who didn't verbally kick your kid out, but you made the environment so toxic it forces them out, y'all are also part of this crap.
Have you told him that you're going to kick them out at 18?
Oh yeah, we established that. I think he got a little bit sad because he was the youngest. He was like 3 and we're already establishing like, yeah, there'll be a time when you leave my house and it'll be at 18. My philosophy is if I haven't taught you how to live on your own by the time you're 18, then I failed and you need to go figure it out on your own. I'm not going to make it worse by having you hang around in my house and then undermine your own personal growth. We may create some concessions, call it our own little internal stimulus package or something, but generally speaking, I've been like really hard set on like, no, at 18, like you got a life to go live it. It's not going to be here at this house. If you ask any of my kids what time they're officially no longer welcome in the Martineau household, it's 18. It goes right in line with my parents also know that at 9 o'clock, I don't have to be nice anymore. And I'm still pretty nice, but like at 9 o'clock, I get to be a little bit more stern and blunt. Like, no, you should be in your room and away from me.
I like it a lot. I think that's it's clarity, right? Clarity is really, really helpful as a parent.
Now, obviously, this is a snippet. I don't know these guys from a can of paint. Clarity? We're going to normalize getting the entire context of the video. I just found the snippet. That is crazy, though. Just judging based on that little snippet, that is insane.
Kicking your kids out at 18 is really up, and I'll go into it. Especially in like Western culture these days, we have like an impetus or like a pressure to like, and I've seen it all the time. It's happened to me where they'll be like, you know, what are you gonna do when you turn 18, son? What are you gonna do? You need to find a place. I'm like, what the f is wrong with you? Because when I have kids, they can stay in my house as long as they need to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, figure it out. I was abandoned after me and my twin graduated high school. Friday we graduated. Monday morning, my mom left us with her ex-boyfriend. And that severely handicapped my life at the beginning. It's like you start a race and you roll your ankle at the front, at the start line. So I'm gonna let my kids stay as long as they want to or need to. And especially, I've lived abroad, and when I lived abroad, it was very common for everyone to be in one house.
Yep.
I think it's a very Western thing.
It is.
And I think we should get rid of it. Love you.
If you are a parent, I would love if you took the time to comment and let me know how you feel about this Western culture, whether you are in America or not. And if you are a parent that did kick out your child, minus the bad kids, let me know why you kicked out your child if they were not being bad. I'll see you guys next time.